Join our family of creators. Your support means the world to us. Subscribe now to the Content Creator channel. Your support keeps us motivated and helps us bring you fresh, exciting content every week. Hit that subscribe button and be part of our journey. It was a deal that seemed too good to be true. A luxury hotel just blocks from the White House, housed in a historic government building. The Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. became a symbol. It was more than just a business venture, it was a magnet. Foreign dignitaries, lobbyists, and corporate executives flocked there, spending lavishly. Was this simply good business, or a way to buy influence with the most powerful man in the world, who just happened to own the hotel? This wasn't a hidden backroom deal, it was happening in plain sight. The U.S. Constitution has a clause for this, the Emoluments Clause, designed to prevent a president from receiving payments or gifts from foreign governments. Yet here it was, a hotel bearing the president's name, accepting money from foreign officials. Lawsuits were filed, debates raged, but the business continued. It became a stark example of the blurring of lines between public service and private enrichment. Who are our leaders really serving? This story is not just about one hotel or one president. It's a window into a much larger issue, the subtle and not so subtle ways power can be used for personal gain. When a foreign government can spend money at a president's private business, it creates an appearance of impropriety. It suggests that access and favor can be purchased. This perception is corrosive. It eats away at the foundation of a government of the people. It makes citizens cynical, wondering if the system is rigged. The hotel's story is a gripping entry point into the complex world of crime and corruption in modern American politics. We'll explore what corruption means today, focusing on events during the Trump administration that brought these issues to the forefront. And we'll consider what this means for the future of American democracy. What role do we, as citizens, have to play in addressing it? What do we mean when we talk about political corruption? It's not always a politician taking a briefcase full of cash. Often it's far more nuanced. At its core, political corruption is the abuse of public office for private gain, a betrayal of the public's trust. Corruption happens when officials use their power to benefit themselves, their family, or their allies. This abuse can take many forms: bribery, embezzlement, nepotism, cronyism, and conflicts of interest. Crime and corruption often overlap, but corruption can operate in a legal gray area. Sometimes what's legal isn't what's right. For example, accepting huge campaign donations from an industry and then voting in its favor may be legal, but does it serve the public interest? Corruption is a deep ethical failure, a moral rot that can weaken government even when no law is broken. Understanding this distinction is crucial. It's not just about catching criminals. It's about changing a culture, strengthening ethics laws, and demanding higher standards. When the lines between right and wrong blur, democracy itself is in peril. The health of our nation depends on recognizing corruption in all its forms. It's a constant struggle that requires vigilance from us all. No recent presidency has raised more questions about crime and corruption than that of Donald J. Trump. From the moment he took office, his administration was dogged by accusations of conflicts of interest and abuse of power. His refusal to fully divest from his business empire was unprecedented. His companies continued to operate, creating constant ethical questions. Was he making decisions as president to benefit his businesses? The question never went away. Mar-a-Lago, his private club, doubled its membership fee after he became president, offering paying members informal access to the president. His daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner served as senior advisors while maintaining outside business interests, raising concerns about nepotism and conflicts of interest. This pattern blurred the lines between family, business, and state, challenging the belief that public service is a duty, not an opportunity for self-enrichment. The Trump administration seemed to operate under a different set of rules, normalizing conflicts of interest and weakening ethical guardrails. It forced the nation to confront uncomfortable truths about the vulnerability of our democratic institutions to personal ambition and greed. In May 2017, the Department of Justice appointed Robert Mueller as special counsel to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 election and any links to the Trump campaign. The investigation lasted nearly 2 years, testing the foundations of American justice. Mueller's team interviewed hundreds of witnesses and gathered a mountain of evidence. They uncovered a sweeping Russian campaign to interfere in the election and numerous contacts between Trump campaign officials and Russians. The report did not establish a criminal conspiracy, but painted a disturbing picture of a campaign willing to accept foreign help. Mueller also detailed 10 instances of potential obstruction of justice by President Trump, including attempts to have Mueller fired and to influence witnesses. The team did not make a traditional prosecutorial judgment, citing DOJ policy that a sitting president cannot be indicted. The report laid out the evidence, handing the question of accountability to Congress. The investigation resulted in criminal charges against several Trump associates, including Paul Manafort and Michael Cohen. It revealed a culture of deception and criminality surrounding the president. The search for truth, however difficult, is essential for a functioning democracy. Even the most powerful are not above the law. The Mueller investigation was a stark reminder of that principle. In summer 2019, a whistleblower complaint revealed a phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's president. Trump asked for investigations into a political rival while withholding military aid, an apparent quid pro quo. The White House released a transcript. The evidence was in the president's own words. Trump leveraged U.S. foreign policy for personal political gain, putting his interests above national security. The House launched an impeachment inquiry, hearing testimony from diplomats and national security officials. They described a shadow foreign policy run by Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to pressure Ukraine. In December 2019, the House impeached Trump for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The Senate acquitted him, but the impeachment left a permanent mark. The Ukraine scandal was a clear example of political corruption, sacrificing democratic principles for personal advantage. It set a dangerous precedent for American leadership. The episode showed how far a president might go to maintain power. It was a dramatic illustration of the stakes for American democracy. The lesson: no one is above the law. Crime and corruption in American politics aren't confined to the Oval Office. They spread through Congress, state capitals, and city councils, a systemic issue. Members of Congress from both parties have faced indictment for bribery, insider trading, and fraud. The revolving door sees lawmakers become lobbyists for industries they once regulated, selling influence to the highest bidder. Weak rules allow this cycle to continue, tilting the playing field toward wealthy interests. Campaign finance is another problem. Politicians rely on massive donations from corporations and special interests, creating obligations that undermine the public good. This isn't always illegal, but it's a form of legalized bribery that drowns out ordinary citizens. At the state and local level, oversight is weaker. Bribes, zoning fraud, and contract scandals directly impact people's lives. From Congress to city councils, the temptation to abuse power is constant. Only a vigilant citizenry and strong independent institutions can keep it in check. The fight against corruption is everyone's responsibility. The most damaging consequence of political corruption isn't financial, it's the erosion of public trust. Trust is the glue that holds democracy together. When people believe the system is rigged, society unravels. Scandals and ethical controversies have left Americans cynical and disillusioned. Only 16% trust the government to do what's right most of the time, a historic low. This lack of trust has real consequences, making it harder to respond to crises and fueling political polarization. We retreat into partisan tribes, excusing our side's corruption and seeing the other as a greater threat. Leaders exploit this division, using claims of a deep state to deflect from wrongdoing. Corruption breeds distrust, and distrust allows more corruption to flourish. Democracy cannot survive without shared facts and mutual trust. Rebuilding trust requires a recommitment to integrity, transparency, and accountability. Faced with such a daunting problem, it's easy to feel helpless, but change is possible. It starts with us. We are the ultimate check on government power. Our most powerful tool is our vote. We must demand more from our leaders and support candidates committed to reform. This means backing transparency measures, stronger whistleblower protections, and campaign finance reform. Reducing the influence of big money in politics is essential for a system that serves the people. Beyond voting, we must stay informed, seek reliable journalism, support local news, and listen to different perspectives. An informed citizenry is the best defense against abuse of power. We can join watchdog groups, volunteer for campaigns, or even run for office ourselves. Democracy is not a spectator sport, it requires active participation. We must hold our leaders accountable and make our voices heard. The fight for integrity in government is ongoing. It demands vigilance, courage, and commitment from us all. Together we can reclaim our democracy. The struggle against crime and corruption in American politics is as old as the Republic. Recent years have exposed the fragility of our democratic norms and institutions. The lines between public service and private gain have blurred, testing our commitment to the rule of law. Rebuilding trust will take a generation and a sustained effort from all of us. We must look past partisanship and recommit to honest, accountable government. We stand at a crossroads. One path leads to cynicism and division, the other to reform and renewal. The choice isn't up to politicians, it's up to us. The future of democracy is written in the choices we make every day. When we vote, speak out, and demand accountability, we shape our nation's future. The work is hard, but the cause is essential. Let us choose integrity, public trust, and a future where democracy endures. The promise of American democracy is ours to keep.